Hello, we're scrambling today, in case you couldn't tell. And it's all Henry's fault. Henry, what have I told you about using your powers of manifestation for evil, huh? How about that? We couldn't spare the hat? You know I love you. I just can't, I don't know where it is. Obviously, I'm not wearing it right now. I refer to it as the hat of power because I'm ridiculous, and I've had it from the dawn of time. I may have left it in the car, and the car is, of course, with the wife who is currently at the work. So that has to be where it is. In fact, as I say this, I'm pretty sure there's a memory in here somewhere of me wearing the hat into the car and then taking it off once I was actually in there. Who can say? That's not the point. Hi, welcome to the Erha book chat. We're talking about volume 10 today, chapters 300 through 303, right? It's not 301 to 304. Am I correct? Did I get that right? I did. It's 300 to 303. So we're going to discuss what happened, which is what we read in the last stream on Thursday. I'm going to attempt a little bit of a different format today, because my brain tells me that if I don't just sit down and spew everything at you, then I'm not going to have time somehow to get through everything. But we'll just see how this goes. So instead of purely going down my list of notes that I typically have and, saying things at you and then joining the chat after I'm done with the list, we're going to go item by item on the list and see if there's anything, specifically you guys have to yell at me. And we'll see how this goes, taking into account that we're starting a little late today on account of Henry. So, first up on the list, Taishan contains the stubbornest love for Chuaning. This is where we're starting. The title of the stream might also be a lie, because as I was giving myself a recap to make these notes for this stream, I was getting a little emotional. So I might be a lying bitch who lies. That may be how this goes. It's your stubbornest love for you. Your stubbornest love for you. That explains so much. So fucking much. Also, soul check, because people have 3 of them in this universe. The stubbornest was with Taishan. Doesn't Chuaning have part of some form of Mo Run soul going on inside of him, in addition to everything else? Or have I made that up out of sheer hope? Right? Am I correct? I feel like there's something there. And then the third one was just destroyed. I need a soul check for Mo Run. Where they're at, what their status is. Because I can't remember, and I still can't go looking for information because blah, blah, blah spoilers. It's just making me nervous. I would like to keep track of them. You'd think I should really have a Mo Run soul tracker going on. I should have had that the whole time. Hindsight. Oh, Anna says Chuaning has his own extra soul from the OG timeline. Thank you. That could be what I'm thinking of. Love also summarizes with OG Chuaning gave a part of his soul to the new Mo Run, but after the soul left Mo Run, our Chuaning got OG and Chuaning's soul back. Thank you, both of you. That's the update. Still makes me nervous, but that's the update. No, it makes all the sense in the world that the last remnants of the overwhelming, obsessive tunnel vision focus be in Taishan. And now that has been destroyed. You could say, or really more like you could, I guess kind of low-key hope, depending what your approach to this fiction is, that it's like the most... What's a easy way to phrase this? The most violent edge of Mo Run's love for Chuaning has been destroyed. Maybe. We're presuming. Because the understanding that I have is that Taeshanjun's body is now inhabited with Mo Run's soul, damaged though it may be. Who knows, though? They could have integrated. Maybe they're living together in a way that, like, rounds out the extremes that are going on within Mo Run's soul. This is all purely theoretical. Ninin says it's musical chair with the souls in the worst fucking way. So it just makes a lot of sense. And if it is actually gone, that's kind of low-key a good thing. But if it's still present, it might still be present in a more, again, well-rounded way, which would also be a good thing. It just feels suitable that, given the fucking flower, that part of Taeshanjun, Mo Run, what have you, gets, like, evaporated. That feels potential. That would make a lot of sense if that's what she had been building to, right? Who the fuck knows? But I see how that makes sense overall, thematically, character-wise, all of that. Which explains why Mo Run, new Mo Run, our Mo Run, fell in love later and didn't immediately, come out of the box, his 15-year-old box or what have you at the beginning, overwhelmed with the need to claim and consume Chuaning. That makes a fucked up amount of sense that I'm actually angry at her for. Because it does. And it's like, of all of the intricately arranged tragedy and plotting and all of the millions of little ramifications that have been designed by Meat Bun to destroy Mo Run and Chuaning, this could almost be like a good thing? Like one of the, it feels like very few good things to come from the general fallout of all of this. Is that Mo Run wasn't dropped into his 15-year-old self and then went running off to abduct Chuaning. That's a whole different version of events. That's a whole other thing. I wouldn't be surprised if there was fanfic for that, actually. To say nothing of the fact that, then we got a whole love story out of it. This is the thing with her. She somehow creates a massively detailed context that will cause as much pain by giving, but also give you everything you want at the same time, baked into everything. She has thought of everything, it feels like. I'm sure if you went like scouring, there's inconsistencies and mistakes. People are only fucking human, right? But the degree to which she has gone to make sure that the dominoes are all neatly lined in a massive fucking intricate pattern is truly sick and twisted. It's diabolical. Like it's on some other shit. That's some next level stuff. 30 more puppets for the bridge. 30 more fuck-ass puppets for the fuck-ass bridge. As of the end of the chapter, Hua Binan has not gotten those bodies. He was too busy fighting Chuaning, and then he was too busy watching Taeshanjun fight Chuaning, and we're too busy being in the middle of things. He couldn't go someplace else and get them because he's a fucking little bitch who can't do anything for himself. Correct? I didn't quite have time in the mad dash for the hat. I didn't quite have time to track down the specific answer to we do or do not have the 30 bodies, but I'm pretty sure we don't as of this moment. I literally all I have written down for the next one is that Chuaning is savage, and it's true, and it should be commented on. Chuaning is savage in a way that only a traumatized gay man can be savage, which is to say some of the most savagery you could ever witness. That's it. That's literally it. It only says Chuaning savage. If my handwriting was at all legible, you could tell. It's not, though. Never has been. Liv says, I have a feeling Chuaning is one branch snap away from destroying this bridge. You know, I wouldn't put it past him. I don't know how that would work, but I wouldn't put it past him. In fact, why is there not like a huge bullseye on this bridge? How is that not like one of our focuses, you know? How, like, I aim for the bridge before I nobly sacrifice my one true love for the sake of a couple of timelines. Then again, the bridge is so fucking long that Chuaning is like super fucking powerful, but I feel like that might be beyond even him. But you don't have to destroy the whole bridge. He needs 30 more bodies. Make it so he needs 50, 75, 100. I don't know why you think I'm grasping at straws. Nenin said, what is the tensile strength of divine wood? Oh, that actually brings me to the next point I have here, which is about Chuaning destroying Teishenjin, or at least thinking that he did. And, you know, the one remnant of Morun that he believes like is left, he just, you know, destroys, because if it sticks around, then he's just going to get used to complete the bridge. And there go the two timelines. Like, we understand, you know, needs of the many and whatnot, but that's still like, sorry, I just remembered that Chuaning comes by this honestly. Somebody explain the difference in the picture of Chuaning sacrificing what he understands is the last scraps of Morun and his ancestor carving his own heart out, his own core out. Where's the difference in the picture? Because I can't really see it. I don't like her. Listen, I brought it up. I control the conversation. I brought it up. I don't want to talk about it. It's too fucking goddamn sad. And he should be rewarded by the narrative, is all I'm saying. He thought he was doing one of the noblest deeds that a person could ever do. Something that not a lot of people would actually do. We can sit here in the comfort of safety and be like, oh, I mean, yeah, if it's literally a world full of people, in this case, two timelines, but go with me. If it's a world full of people versus my loved one, that's an obvious, on paper, it's a very obvious moral choice. Actually doing it, however, being in that situation, having to personally make that sacrifice, not everyone would do. They wouldn't be able to. There's actually one particularly famous story that I'm thinking of right now, that one of the many reasons it was made famous is because in a ultimately similar context, they didn't. To fantastic effect, but we can't talk about that. We're talking about Erha. So I'm just saying, he deserves to be rewarded by the narrative. As if he didn't before, given all of the bullshit, but you know what I mean. Liv says, all I'm saying is that if we're going for parallels, where's the Ron Juan kid? Oh, parallels between, yeah. The ancestor, Chishin. Yeah, where's their kid? I'm not even one for MPreg. I'm not even one for really pregnancy or kids much at all in my romantic fiction. I don't fucking care. If they magically had a kid at the end of this, I'd be like, it's the least she could do. There's also something to be said for, you know, people with deeply tragic, difficult, traumatic, morally gray or worse backstories going on to healing enough to become loving parents and all of that. There's plenty of stuff there. I wouldn't be mad at it, is all I'm saying. For a slight change in tone, Shui Meng and the Han Shuis. I'm just bringing that up as a topic for discussion because honestly, I really can't get enough of the idea. And you know, she's just baiting us with OG Shui Meng showing up with his two Han Shuis. Excuse me? She's offering the fanfiction opportunities up to us on a silver platter because somehow she gives as much as she takes, which is crazy. It's a crazy thing to say, but she does, and she did. I haven't been able to get it out of my head. I don't know about you, but given that this is Meat Bun we're talking about, I wouldn't be surprised if not all of the Han Shuis got out of this, and if it really came down to our Shimei and his Han Shuis, right? And I had to lose one of them. These are the really pleasant hypotheticals that I run in my head while I'm putting on makeup for these streams. I'm fucked because I don't have a preference. Because just in the two Han Shuis, she has my two biggest character weaknesses. Cold, stoic, and aloof. And casual, relaxed, joking, flirtatious guy in these two. So if one of them has to die because she's a sadist, I don't know who I'd rather. Who could say? I don't know. Kill the serious one from one timeline and the funny one from the other and kind of put them together like that. If you really must kill one or more of them. I'm just saying, we can Frankenstein this. You think I'm above that? I'm not. Liv said, I don't think I can lose Shui Meng in any timeline. Also that. We can't be losing a Shui Meng. We're probably going to, but we can't be losing a Shui Meng. Maria brought up Shui Meng looking like Shui Jingyang, and we're definitely not talking about that. That was cruel. That was a very well-placed jab into my chest. Sometimes when she really gets on a tear and she pulls out all of these, you know, crazy fucking details that are designed to cause you maximum pain, and she unleashes them in fairly short order, you can kind of like not numb to it because it still hurts, but you can sort of like hunker down and be like, okay, this is what we're weathering right now. But it's when she just chooses a moment and then deploys a very hurtful factor observation. That's when it's almost worse. And that's what Shui Meng looks like Shui Jingyang in this moment, especially with the way that she put it. That was like very beautiful and evocative. That's almost worse. I would almost take the onslaught over one well-aimed punch. Thank you. That thank you was aimed at Meat Bun, by the way, not you. The possibilities between Shui Meng and the Shui Mengs and the Meihan Shuis remain endless and thoroughly explicit. While at the same time, thank you, Nin, Meng Meng is our collective baby. Also that's very true. We're very protective of him. Almost as protective as the Han Shuis. Next item on the list, because of Chu Wanning, what the hell did I write here? Oh. Yeah, because of Chu Wanning's hijinks in the OG timeline, that's what, for lack of a better word, allowed Hua Binan to get at Mo Run. That was, turns out, a big help to Hua Binan and his whole thing. And like, we kind of wouldn't be here if Chu Wanning hadn't like made certain decisions, which obviously not his fault, even remotely. Is that going to stop him from feeling guilty for the rest of his life? No. He already has a masterclass in heaping 2 timelines worth of guilt onto his shoulders. This isn't going to help. Once again, that was mean, Meat Bun. Why isn't she called Mean Bun, actually? That's a better name for her. You're still riffing off of the Meat Bun of it all, but it's a little bit more accurate. Henry asks a good question. What about this world's Jiangxi? Does OG Shui Meng know about his bio dad? These are the questions. I don't think they're going to be able to talk about it until a bonus story, given how much is left. But these are the questions, actually. Henry knows what to ask. That's a bit of tea that I didn't even know we were sitting on. Didn't realize we were sitting on. Maria brings up something that I would have written down if I had come across it as I sort of dashed to put these notes together. Maria says Hua Binan telling Chu Wanning that if he could redo it, he would have killed him for sure. That kind of deserves an essay like unto itself. We got that sort of reveal amidst everything else that like Hua Binan's fixation on Chu Wanning was very like, cursory isn't the right word, but it's very like extra, as in like non-essential. It was not essential to Hua Binan's thing. It was like this extra piece that would be fun to have on the side, in a sense. Very like conditional. And so in hindsight, Hua Binan is like, well, I mean, if I had to do it all over again, I'd just fucking get rid of you because you're more trouble than you're worth. Which is another point of opposites from Mo Run, because obviously Mo Run wouldn't think that in a million years. Ah, Nidan says, a want, not a need. There you go. That's a good one. Yeah, Liv, putting it another way, said, so that love wasn't really love, huh? Yeah, it wasn't even, like, particularly, like, ardent. It wasn't, it turned out to look similar to the type of fixation and obsession that was very, like, Taeshanjun-ish. And why wouldn't we think that, what with the Taeshanjun of it all? But as it turns out, kind of flimsy, actually. Oh, Liv makes a good point and says it was possession. You're absolutely correct. Um, Actually, let me cross this off over here. Love brings up a moment that I also would have written down about. Love says, we really need to talk about how Shuemeng saw Chufei's grave, and Taeshanjun had changed it from the grave of Consort 2 to the grave of my teacher, Chu Wanning. You know, my Taeshanjun, he missed Chu Wanning. Yeah, I didn't properly process that at the time, because when there's bombs going off everywhere, like, one or two can get lost among the, you know? And I was like, huh, my psyche feels the weight of this, but I have to keep reading somehow. And so I then had to keep reading. But no, that was fundamentally game-changing in a way that way too many of her revelations from the meaningful to the casual are. Is simply, like, and really, one of the reasons why it's so devastating is because since we know about the fucking flower, we know that that impulse, despite the flower, is particularly, had to have been particularly, it had to have been the opposite of Hua Binan's faux interest. It was the total opposite. In order to have that emerge from a consciousness affected by that flower, that had to have been fucking strong and determined. Whereas Hua Binan is like, you're kind of getting in my way. I would have just killed you if I could do this all over again. The contrast. Henry says Chu Wanning was the first person Shimei felt safe around. I think he was chasing that feeling more than he loved Chu Wanning. I'm inclined to agree. It's a very salient observation. Thank you, Henry. 4 minutes till the stream. Thank you so much. I assume I'm going to be a couple of minutes late to the stream as a result of being like 10 minutes late here. So we can hang on for just a tiny bit longer, especially while I finish up just the last couple things on the list. Now, sometimes I really don't make sense. The second to last note says, now Taeshanjun isn't dead, but Chu Wanning is still committed to following through. It's just yet another thing that proves over and over and over again that Chu Wanning is indeed committed to this, even if he has to be the one to do it, even if he has to be the one who kills Moran to Moran's face, and not however long away with some remote ability that Chu Wanning has. He's like, no, I'm going to fucking do this, and you can't. We're not all like you, Hua Binan. We're not all selfish pieces of shit. Which is, of course, not touching the valid parts of Hua Binan's whole thing, obviously. And then literally the last note I have is just hello. I'm only about to read for 2 hours. OG Shuimeng. OG Shuimeng and the Hunchways. They're here. And in just a few minutes, we actually get to see how they're here. See how many of them live, I think, maybe. If we get that resolution by the end of today's stream. Who knows? We're reading 304 to 307, I think. The correct numbers are in the stream's description as per usual. And that's where we're hopping over to. So if we get both Shuimengs and all 4 Hunchways on the same page at the same time, that might be just enough to help me weather whatever the fuck she's about to do to me today. How did we enjoy this approach to the book chat format? Real quick before I go. Do we like the monologuing at the beginning with all of the notes, or is this stoppy-starty thing more fun? I'm just making sure that I have everything marked out so I don't feel like I missed anything. Yeah? It's good? We dig it? Nice. It does feel even more like a chat than a monologue with a chat at the end. You know, that's kind of what I was going for. What I was hoping would do. So, yeah, Henry. I like the flow of the continuous dialogue. That's kind of what yeah. So we'll keep trying that. That definitely, that felt nice. That was great. That was, I mean, I have fun with you guys, like, literally no matter fucking what. But you know what I mean. So, it is 2:59. It's time to hop on over to the stream and read some more of Erha. Thank you for being here. I love you all very, very much. You guys make way too many good points, and you're funnier than me. I'll see you over there in just a minute.